Speak.
Boom. There we are. 6 people in and a 15-second delay, just in case you're interested, people.
Yeah.
Volume okay?
Yeah.
Brilliant. As long as you good people out there can hear me. We're instantly down to 4. Oh, it's going to be one of them nights. Good evening, Rubber Chuck.
You mean Rubber Chuck? And a lurker.
Yeah, I'm just trying something a bit different tonight. Not just because it's midweek. Obviously, we've had the autumn statement today from Jeremy the Hunt. That's easily to get wrong, isn't it? And I was going to go through things like that, and I want to play around with putting clips up, getting people's reactions to what he was saying. Good evening, Moo. Hopefully the clips will work. It's just a bit of an experiment, see how people, if people like the way it works more than anything. I'm not going to have a panel as such, simply because I want to concentrate on what people are saying in their reactions in the chat. But hopefully Dan will pop up in a bit. He will be coming in. And maybe one other guest, but that will be it in the panel. So, but as I say, tonight's just a bit of an experiment, really. But
13.
I'll get myself set up here.
Give us a thumbs up in the chat. Let us know who's out there listening.
Bloody eyes were going a bit funny then. But yeah, I mean, Hunt stood up there today. Just trying to get this all set up here. Make sure I got everything where it should be. Good evening, Stuart. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things I expected him to bring up that he didn't. He didn't talk much about net zero, only when he was on about paying bits of money out here and there. Surprisingly enough, nothing on vehicle tax, duty on fuel, anything like that. He did spout a lot of figures and that around the economy, and but to be honest, I don't take a lot of them on board, simply because it's high finance. It's nothing to do with us. Good evening, John. But one he did talk about was housing. Now, I did say in a video earlier in the week, I think it was, that he's going to relax some of the red tape around building regulations and getting permissions. Well, personally, I think that's only going to lead to poorly built, substandard buildings and housing, to be honest. But another one he surprised me with today was that if you're a private landlord or you own your own house, as long as it's a 2-story house, you'll be able to split it in 2 to create 2 flats without too much red tape, as long as it doesn't affect the outward look of the building. As long as the outside of the building remains the same, they're going to allow you to do that. So, incoming a lot of rogue landlords on that, I expect. We know how they work. The NHS, literally, he hasn't said how they're going to do it. All he said is they're going to throw lots of money at it, which will never work because it's the management that needs sorting out. And I know that's you because nobody else has got the link.
Good evening.
Good evening, mate.
Sorry,
yeah.
I'm a few.
Graham, not in the chat. Good evening, Graham. But yeah, I hope this is going to work, Dan, because if not, between you and Heather, you're going to have to sort me out here.
Aye.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to play a clip, and then anybody in the chat or whoever wants to have an opinion on it, I certainly have opinions on some of them.
Sounds like a game show at the moment.
But what I've done, I've just picked out the ones that are relevant to us, everyday man in the street, the ones that will affect us more than anything. Good evening, Nut Maiden. How are you, darling? Dr. Kersey. Right, where shall we start? I suppose the good one for us older ones would be the pensions.
Well, ease us in, Roger. Ease us into it. You know, just the shit.
Into it. Well, pensions. I mean, that's not going to affect a lot of you guys, is it? To be honest, I'm nearer to that than most of you. But
they have got the best deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, let's get that one up there. Hope that's going to come up. There we go. That's exactly how I expected it to go. Right, now the first thing is, can you hear it?
Increase the full new state pension
Yes.
by 8.5%.
Yes.
You might need to, if you can turn it up a touch, just turn it up a little bit in the bottom corner.
This is one of the largest ever cash increases to the state pension, showing a conservative government
you missed the
will always
important
back
bit.
our pensioners.
You were talking over the important bit.
We were.
Sorry.
You was.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Play it again, Sam.
Well, basically, what it was is the pensions are going to go up from next April. The normal state pension will be rising 8.5%. Good evening, Resist. Sean, AM Summer. Oh, Holly, good evening. Sorry, I forgot you got that other one. Hi, Box. So, yeah, the pensions are going to go up 8.5%. They say in line with inflation. How they can work that out, I don't know, because they don't know what the inflation is going to be in next April. And that's if you qualify, even, because if you haven't paid a national insurance enough, you won't get it.
Well, just
or live long enough to claim it.
Just to touch on the pension thing there. Whilst I was down with my mum and dad, my dad had a letter. I think it was a works pension. It wasn't a state pension. It was a works pension, and he had a letter to say that he was getting a rise in his works pension, and the rise in the works pension would not even have covered the piece of paper and the stamp to send him a letter.
Yeah.
Yep.
21p a year.
Yep.
A fucking joke.
Well, one of the ones I'm going to bring up in a minute and show a clip of is the new national insurance levels that he's set. Now, Heather used to work in payroll. She used to do all that shit. Now, she's come up with some surprising figures to totally rebuff what he said. So I'll get into that one next. But I'll say good evening, Missy. Say Tony, Tranquility. Hi, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button. Right, so where were we? Which one was that one? That was on NI for PA. That was the one. See, I've got a file open and I've got them all named. Oh, no, shut up. Wait, I'm not ready. I don't know. In one way, I will find out how I can set all this up to make it quicker. But right now, this is what he had to say on pensions, national insurance for PAYE, as well as I think this one's got self-employed on as well.
To get up early in the morning. If we want them to work nights, if we want an economy where people go the extra mile and work hard, then we need to recognise that their hard work benefits us all. So today, Mr. Speaker, I'm going to cut the main 12% rate of employee national insurance. If I cut it by 1 percentage point to 11%, that would be an extra £225 in the pockets of the average worker every year. But instead, I'm going to go further and cut the main rate of employee national insurance by 2 percentage points from 12% to 10%. That change will help 27 million people. It means someone on the average salary of 30.
Right, now this is the interesting bit. These are the numbers to listen to.
£5,000 will save over £450. For the average nurse, it's a saving of £520. For the typical police officer, a saving of £630 every single year. And Mr. Speaker, I would normally bring in a measure like this from the start of the new tax year in April. But instead, tomorrow, I'm introducing urgent legislation to bring it in from January the 6th. So people can see the benefit in their pay slips at the start of the new year.
Now, I'm going to hand you over to the person behind me. Remember the numbers he gave there.
Right. So,
Can you all hear her, by the way?
Yeah, loud and clear.
of course, I'm loud and clear. I am she who must be heard. So that all sounds great. £450, £630 a year. Minimum wage, 40-hour week, dog's body is going to notice a whole difference in their monthly pay packet of £15.17. £182.07 a year. Your mum on minimum wage, that's just about managing 30 hours a week in between picking the kids up, is going to notice a whole £6.14 a month. Just £73.70 a year. That's what he's done for us working people.
Yeah. Graham's put it in the comments there. Graham put a comment saying 2% off NI contributions is not much help to those on poverty level income, which is exactly what you said.
Exactly.
Somebody who only works 20 hours a week doesn't pay national insurance anyway.
I'm just going to let this run a bit, so I can't remember whether he did the self-employed ones on this.
The OBR say reducing a tax on work means more.
No, that was for the PAYE only. So yeah, and it works out that with the numbers he gave there, if a nurse was on a 40-hour week, she's on 20. What was it you worked out at? £24 an hour on those figures?
Well, once you get over sort of £12 an hour, you tend to only work 37.5 hours.
But I've sussed it. They might be using the money they're paying agencies for the nurse, not what they're paying the nurses.
But it's putting a nurse on nearly 40 grand a year.
Yeah.
The majority of nurses are minimum wage, maybe 12 quid, but they're not on £15 an hour, let alone what's 39, £20 an hour.
But
most nurses are not on £20 an hour.
Let's get that one set up so I can go with that one. Right, what's everybody saying in the chat? What do they think? I did see someone said they're going to be retiring next year. Who was that? Dr. Kersey. Yes, so if you're eligible for the state pension, you'll be 8.5% better off.
He did. Have you got the figure written down there that he said 200 and...
No, I haven't. I've got notes all over the bloody place. You know what I'm like.
I'm going to say about £215 a year, roughly. But it wasn't a lot over 200, but that's what it's going up to.
But this is what I said, resist. He's going to throw stuff at us that he thinks, that we think, oh, it's going to help. Nothing he's doing there is really going to help us. There's nothing in there about it, and he didn't say a lot about it, but there was nothing about the cost of living, as I say. There was nothing about fuel duty and fuel prices. We all know that if they put the prices up in shops and that, they're never going to come down.
Yeah, of course not.
They put them up, they're going to get used to them. They're going to get used to that bit of profit. And
Exactly.
ultimately,
Same as your fuel.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's a bit more tax.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't tell the slagging off in the chair.
Sean, we all like to sit in a chair with a pretty blanket, a
But
cup of tea and my fags. I've got my blanket here behind me.
no, he did. I can't remember whether I clipped it or not. Benefits, more or less, across the board, including universal credit, stuff like that. That's going to raise next April. Not as early as he's given everybody else a bit of relief and little bits of rises, of 6.7%, I think it was 6.7.
He didn't name individual
He-
benefits, though. He just
he
said
didn't.
benefits will be going up by.
He just said some benefits, including universal credit, will be going up by 6.7%. But to me, if they're going to raise the pensions by 8.5, and that's up with the average that they say it's going to be, then surely benefits should rise by the same amount. If they're going to carry on what they say is levelling up. Because at the moment, it don't look like that's going to ever happen. But some people might gain a little bit. But the ones that will gain as slightly are this lot, which is, oh, hang on, here we go again. So you don't have to go for all this, Dan, because you've got that OBS stuff, haven't you?
Yeah.
Right, now this is what he's doing for the self-employed.
Part of our plans to grow the economy, I want to reform and simplify taxes paid by the self-employed. So today I'm announcing a major reform of one of those taxes. It's one most people haven't heard of, but it's a big deal for those who have to pay it. Class 2 national insurance is a flat rate compulsory charge, currently £3.45 a week, paid by self-employed people earning more than 12,570, which gives state pension entitlement. Today, after careful consideration and in recognition of the contribution made by self-employed people to our country, I can announce that we are abolishing Class 2 national insurance altogether.
Right, abolishing it altogether. Okay. Yeah, that will help the self-employed a little bit. The fact that the levels he's given is only £2,000 a year difference between actually paying that little bit or not paying any at all, because what is it, £9,000 something?
Sorry, I was reading something in
The threshold.
12,570. I was thinking it used to be lower. But
So
they
no,
brought it
I
up
got that
into
wrong
line.
then. So really,
Yeah,
that
sorry,
bit ain't
that was my
changed.
bad. That was my bad earlier. I was
But-
saying it was lower.
Basically, that's what they'd be earning there is minimum wage.
Saving the average self-employed person £192 a year. Access to entitlements and credits will be maintained.
Well, that ain't even enough to tax his fucking van, is it? If he's going around mowing lawns and doing deliveries.
in full, and those who choose to pay voluntarily will still be able to do so. But this change simplifies and cuts tax for nearly 2 million self-employed people, whilst protecting the interest of those on the lowest pay. And because we value their work, I'm taking one further step for the self-employed. They also pay Class 4 national insurance at 9% on all earnings between 12,570 and 50,270. Today, I've decided to cut that tax by 1 percentage point to 8% from April. Taken together with the abolition of the compulsory Class 2 charge, these reforms will save around 2 million self-employed people an average of £350 a year from April.
Don't believe a word of it.
I didn't do you the sums on that one.
Don't believe a word of it. So what are people thinking of this? Benefits are made. Yes, lodger. The thing is, they're saying they're going to start taking away benefits for those that are disabled, etc., if they don't work, if they're capable of working from home. Now, this is going to take, and many people in here will understand this, how they're going to assess people for that, God knows. Because everybody has got a different level of disabilities, some physical, some mentally, some both. Now,
you'd have to examine people over an extended period of time to see what an average day is like for them in order to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
that's possible.
You know better than me about the fatigue because you do suffer a lot more from that than I do. But when I filled out my assessment forms, I literally answered yes to everything because, yes, I could do everything on that list. Every single question. But after answering yes, I also put fatigue, arthritis, allowing. You know, and then it goes on, you explain the circumstances a bit more. I said, well, I can be up 5 minutes and I need to fall asleep again. I can't function. Some mornings I can't get up and function at all. Some days I'll last an hour before I need to sleep. Other days I can go a whole day. Now, you can't work out a job and do work when your body does that to you. You know, yes, I could probably do some form of computer work, but I'm not versed in using computers for actual work. I've only learned to use them in this environment, as it were. I know there's not a lot of difference, but that's still another big thing to learn with my capacity after the strokes.
Yeah.
So God knows how they try and sort that out. I said, well, you got to do this, you got to do that. What am I going to do? Sit there sticking fucking envelopes down all day for their propaganda shit that they post out.
Work for the government, Rog.
Yeah. MI 4.5. But no, to me, yes, there are. I'll carry on answering that one. Yes, there are people out there that it has made lazy, and we all know that are people out there that are receiving benefits that shouldn't. And they're the ones that are actually cocking up benefits for those that do need them, because we are also ensnared in the loop when they're trying to sort them out, and it messes us up. And this is the thing they don't seem to understand. You know, like, what can I use in an allergy on it? Gun licensing. There you go. Perfect. Bring in licensing. Fine. The only people that are going to pay for a license are responsible owners. Criminals aren't. So it ain't going to stop the criminals using them. You know? But, yes, Missy, I've got to apply for my PIP. Dan, I think, already gets it. But yes, Stuart, it will all be minimum wage. Eventually, it'll be a national standard wage, I think.
That's going up to £11.20 in April.
Oh, yeah, £11.20. Mercury now. What else we got on here? Because I'll throw all this open after I've played these few. I've only got a couple more, I think.
Oh, have you mentioned yet there's no increase to the tax-free allowance? We're still, again, third year in a row, 12,570.
Yep.
Third year in a row, or is it fourth now? I forget.
That's what I mean. They'll give it with one hand and they'll take it back with the other somewhere.
Well, the little that they're giving is going to end up, as Roger said earlier, is going to end up being spent on the cost of living as it's gone up. Do you know what I mean? So we're not actually going to gain anything from this. You know, us, people, because it's percentages, it's this lot here, that lot there, and all their buddies that will get the best deal out of all of this because it's working on percentages.
Yeah,
but it's going to help the higher earners because they pay more national insurance. It's not
Yeah.
helping those at the lower end of the limit. It'd have been better off raising the taxable and NIable free pay to 15 grand and leaving everybody else that earns over 15 grand to pay the 12% and the 20%, and do it that way and help those on the lower salaries that don't see the benefit from something stupid like this.
But it's
Everybody
not. They're the
gets a
people
bit
they
of
don't want to help, though, Mrs. W. They're the people they don't really want to help.
No, they don't give a hoot.
Yeah. Right. Now this one.
Second, because rent can constitute more than half the living costs of private renters on the lowest incomes, I've listened closely to many colleagues, as well as the Institute for Fiscal Studies, the Resolution Foundation, Citizens Advice UK, and the Joseph Rowntree Foundation, who said that unfreezing the local housing allowance was an urgent priority. I will therefore increase the local housing allowance rate to the 30th percentile of local market rents. This will give 1.6 million households an average of £800 of support next year. Third, although I'm going to increase duty on hand-rolling tobacco by an additional 10% above the tobacco duty escalator, I know that for many people...
Now. So they're going to base your housing allowance, which I presume is your benefit if you're on benefits, by 30% according to the levels of local housing markets. So how much extra is London going to get to the rest of us? They will probably get a rise of in a month of more than some of us actually pay.
Yeah.
Did you look up what the local housing allowance was?
I haven't
Right.
looked at the council site yet.
Local housing allowance doesn't affect us because we rent off the council, but affects Donna.
Yeah.
Because she rents from a private landlord. So with a private landlord, they won't always pay the maximum. It's like a 3-bedroom house is £650, and that's all you get, regardless of what it costs you, even if it costs you £1,000 to rent it. So that's what the LHA is. Donna will get that little bit extra to pay her landlord,
but we
the
won't get a
difference
penny.
that isn't covered at the moment.
But good evening, Paulette. But yeah, no, that goes back to what I said at the beginning about them allowing people and landlords that own their houses and what have you, turn them into 2 flats with very little red tape, as long as it stays the same visually from the outside. Now, if you've got slum landlords that have got, one family in a house, they're going to turn around and say, right, you can live in the rooms downstairs and I'm going to convert upstairs into another flat. And I mean, if you look at the rents around here now, a private house, exactly the same as ours here, same layout, it's over £1,000 a month. Now, if he turned that into 2 flats, which is quite easily done in a building this size, he could probably get 800 to £1,000 for each flat round here. So instantly they're going to double their rent through not a lot of work. They're going to double their income on them. Now, are they doing that for tax purposes? More income coming in, are they going to be able to charge them more tax? I don't think most of them would probably even declare it. But this is where, again, the debate, I shall say, it's an idea that's been tabled in Parliament, of allowing the DWP and HMRC to have direct access to your bank account, so they can actually see what's being paid in, what's being paid out, and on what, so they can penalise you through the benefits. If they deemed you've had a payment in there from somewhere else that you shouldn't have had, or they don't like, they'll deduct that from your benefit payment before it goes in. And eventually, if you buy something they don't want you to buy, you'll get penalised for that as well because they'll see it. That's only on the table at the moment. It's apparently they've just been talking about it, but that could actually become a reality very, very quickly.
Well, they're struggling to move forward with the digital currency, aren't they? I suppose doing it this way, they get quite a large chunk of society still being able to be controlled through their money, through their banks.
Yeah, and think about it as well. The ones that are more likely to work that way, although I don't know anybody that would be stupid enough to put cash into their bank account, are the lowest paid because they're the ones that are more likely to try and work a fiddle or whatever. Yes, sure. I believe a lot of it is the housing, especially, is to do with the immigrants. Obviously, they're saying now they're going to cut the red tape, as I said at the beginning, make it easier to build them quicker because they're not building them quick enough. So again, yeah, they're going to be substandard structures probably because builders will cut corners to make money. Obviously, it's human nature, unfortunately. And yeah, then that's where because they're not actually removing the immigrants. They're taking them out of the hotels like they're saying they're doing, but a lot of them are either being moved into a camp or put in other hotels. But on that, I got one final clip which ties in with that quite nicely, actually. Where are we? Oh yeah, I got a double click on that.
Support a group of people.
Shut up. Wait till I'm ready. Right, share. Read up. See, Dan does this at one click of a button. I got half a dozen of the bloody things.
Yeah, but I have to set it all up before, which is just as much hassle.
Good evening, ATL. Now, this is what he had to say about the veterans.
A group of people to whom we owe our freedom, our brave veterans. I will extend national insurance relief for employers of eligible veterans for a further year and provide £10 million to support the Veterans, Places, Pathways and People programme. And I thank our excellent Veterans Minister for his championing of their cause.
Now, what he's actually doing is lowering the national insurance payments to veterans that are working for employers. The veterans will only receive the same discount on their national insurance as everybody else, but the people that employ them will gain.
They've got
encourages them to employ them.
Sorry, Roger. They've got a veterans minister. I didn't know they had a veterans minister.
Yeah.
He's clearly not doing his fucking job. But this is, I mean, that's hardly going to help the fucking hundreds of them or thousands of them that are on the streets.
Yes, exactly. They're going to give £10 million to certain charities. Well, there's plenty of charities out there at the moment, and there's still veterans living on the street.
Oh.
It'll be nothing. There's nothing about actually housing the veterans, the homeless ones. There's nothing there about putting extra in for the veterans to get treatment or help anywhere. They're all the money is going to the same bloody charities that are supposed to be doing stuff now, and it ain't happening. And if it is, it ain't enough.
No,
it's, and I saying what he said there. I'd call him out as a fucking hypocrite because he was one of the ones that started taking away the freedoms, the money from these places, along with Sunak, and they stand there and thank them on Armistice Day. But them bastards shouldn't even be there, as far as I'm concerned.
How much did he say he was giving to the thing to help them?
10 million.
Is that all?
Yeah. That's a day of what he gives to the fucking immigrants. A day.
Yeah, I was going to say that's less than 2 days. Less than 2 days. What they're dishing out to help people that have never done anything for this country.
Yeah, they're paying a day for them, 10 million a fucking day. Yet the veterans get 10 million a year. That is just absolutely disgusting, as far as I'm concerned. they don't care. They do not care. I mean, yeah, they were going on about opening up, obviously, the new oil and gas sources and stuff like that. He particularly mentioned hydrogen gas production. Well, yeah, we can be self-sufficient. Yeah, we could be, but at the moment, it looks like they're selling a load to fucking Germany to keep their industry going. They're producing hydrogen gas and selling it to Germany. Yeah. How the hell are we going to be self-sufficient if they keep selling stuff off?
Yeah, we should be storing all that extra stuff. We should be storing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he went on about the building projects for nuclear power stations. Well, I know for a fact at least 3 of those that they've got planned or have already started are financed by the Chinese. How they're doing that, I don't know, because their economy is absolutely tanked. It's just, he shouted down. I don't know whether anybody saw PM's question times before all this bollocks. He shouted down Labour because they said they were going to borrow 28 billion if they got in power to sort things out. Well, in half an hour there yesterday, he promised different things around the world, over 200 billion. Yet he's accusing them of going to overspend for spending 28. I'm like, oh, Rob, good evening, mate. But yeah, I'll just, what's people's views in the chat?
Graham, we do have an International Man's Day, Graham. That was last Sunday, but as I posted on Facebook on last Sunday, there was nothing anywhere about International Man's Day. No posts anywhere. No police posts saying, "Oh, you know, International Men's Day today," blah blah blah, like they do with all the other bollocks. The newspapers, nothing on the news. It just happens to be an International Man's Day. Fuck it, just don't worry about that.
And the thing is that would cover all creeds.
Yeah, of course, yeah. It's still racist, Roger.
Well, you know, you can't be a racist unless you're white. So,
well, there is that too, yeah.
So apparently, I'm racist and far right, according to them. Which 2 things I've never ever considered myself to be. Hope you're all right there, mate. He has got a sore throat and a bad cough. I was chatting to him this afternoon on camera, and
yeah,
a lot of us have had it, both me and Heather.
Like a vibration sitting on, it's like vibration when I breathe sitting on my throat, and just ends up making me cough every now and again, quite badly.
Well, I never hear what my breathing's like when I'm asleep, but she said it sounds like I'm breathing underwater.
What, when you're asleep? She's waterboarding you, Roger. She's got a towel on her face.
Trying to drown me.
If I get that sort of thing going on in my throat, I have to cough. He sleeps through it. He gurgles.
But going back to what he said there. Now, as Heather rightly said, a lot of the guys that are going to gain out of this is big business. We know that. We know they've always preferred big business. They don't give a crap about the normal man in the street. But what he has given are the ones that people have wanted to hear the most. Now, I just think today was a big PR exercise for an upcoming election. The fact that he's stepping down before the next election, Jeremy Hunt, he's already put his notices in that no matter what the outcome of the next election, he's stepping down. So what he's done now, he's put himself in a position where he can go to either side, basically whoever wins the election. if there's a change in leadership in this country, he's open to take a post on the opposition if he's offered it. He's a very clever boy, very clever boy, and a lot of this is being done behind the scenes.
Oh, Rob, thank you.
I am sexist and proud.
There's real women, not. Yeah, thank you.
She can be evil, Rob. She can be, mate. I wouldn't want to provoke her. Put it that way.
It's a minefield these days when you're dealing with women. When you're dealing with women, it's a minefield. One of them might have a dick. One of them might want to go to the police because you looked at them, seductively.
Yeah, it's like
whatever you do.
You can call me Harold now. Just don't play with me, Fanny.
Like a lucky dip. Like a lucky dip. Well, unlucky dip these days.
I'll tell you what, I look at some of them posts of that on Facebook that some of them women put on there, and I'm like, seriously, you expect to attract a bloke with that shit and looking like that? You must be having a laugh, You
know what it is? It's they rely on their 5 o'clock shadow like Velcro. So once they get close to a man, they stick to them. You can't get away then.
Every time I see one, it reminds me of that scene on what was it with Jim Carrey, the old animal guy, when he turns the woman round and says, "The worst push case of hemorrhoids I've ever seen with her tucker." I'm like, what?
Good film, that.
Oh dear. No, but these women are like, oh, we can live without a man. Yeah, you can live without a man. You ain't going to breed without one, but you can live without one. So you can be the last in your line.
We last a few
Pet
generations.
detective, thank you, Rob.
We lost a few generations. There's enough stored in the sperm banks.
Female purple sperm wheel wasn't him.
I've got my own sperm bank. It's a sock in a cupboard.
Thank you for sharing.
But I mean, yeah,
when we water for a while.
Freeze dried. Oh no, you started me eyes watering already.
What do you do? Cut a bit out of it and just rehydrate that for each.
Well, if you just drop the whole sock in a big pan and boil it for a little while, it comes out like a soup.
State of my teeth, soup's even better.
Oh, dear.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Sorry.
This early in the middle of the week as well. Oh, that was a question I was going to ask. I mean, we've got the same sort of numbers and the same people in here as I normally get on a Friday. Now, would you prefer me to do a midweek live from, say, 7 till 10? Obviously, it could include, because usually PM's question times are on a Wednesday, so I could do a section like this at the beginning of the live on the PM's question times.
You screwed Mo up.
I need a drink. Clock has gone. Is it Friday, Sunday? It's a holiday.
Sean, you can't say things like that. Sean, you can't say things like that. There might be people that identify as a female in the chat.
Yeah, but bear in mind when they say I identify as, that's the same as saying I pretend to be. Which we used to play as kids. But funny enough, I never wanted to pretend I got a pair of tits and a pussy,
I was a fucking cowboy.
No, I don't remember my sister pretending she got a dick either, but there you go. She turned out to be one, but... But no, I mean, I don't know what you guys think, whether it's better for you guys a bit later, like this in the evening, in the middle of the week, or do you still prefer the Friday afternoons, early evening?
Looks red to this side.
Eh? Oh,
It
yeah, I
looks
said
red.
that. I said that Sunday, mate.
Actually, looks like it's getting redder again.
Maybe
Strange.
you get a little bit of an infection in there.
This here, I've got a, we spoke about this like an ingrown hair or something there, but everything else seems fine. It's just that little spot.
That one patch, yeah.
I've had that for about a week and a half now.
Well, that might be what's spreading it across. Evening, Stitch.
No, not. I hope it don't all start falling out. It's a waste of tea. I'll have to Pritt stick on there and roll around on the floor.
Both are possible, or just from Stuart. Yeah, the other thing, I'm restricted by the hours I get each month anyway, Stuart, because one, I'm too tight to pay for the paid StreamYard, and two, I don't really need everything that's on there, and I'm not going to pay for something I don't want.
And three, I won't let him.
And what?
Three, I won't let you.
No, she won't let me.
Oh, Stitch. Hey, Stitch, it's your birthday tomorrow, isn't it?
I'll have to wait for an answer. She's 15 seconds behind. Do midweek live and the Friday if you can. Yeah, there is that possibility. Resist.
Yes, it is. Well, I'll say it now, Stitch. Happy birthday for tomorrow in case I don't get to say it tomorrow.
Yes, happy birthday, Stitch. I dare say I'll send you a message in the morning.
Yeah, have a good day, sweet.
Just out of interest, because there's 28 in here, there's certainly not 28 in the chat. Is there anybody here that's come over from Facebook? I'm just wondering whether I'm picking anybody up from Facebook. Well, I know one or two of my mates drop in and watch, but it's my sarcastic Welsh sense of humour. That's all right. We get plenty of that from her sister-in-law.
Marvellous, it's good.
Marvellous it is.
No, it's fine, Sean. It's fine. I said to a couple of people recently, I know that Welshie got a bit of a hard time from a few people after my stream ended. I know some people were joking, but there were some people that were quite adamant that he was being a bit of an arsehole and leaving me where I was. But I didn't go with him. He wasn't there with me. We just met whilst we was there, and I told him to carry on. He did come back, which is a fact. He did come back to check on me, and I told him to carry on with what he was doing. I didn't want to hold back anybody that was there for the same reason as me. Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't have been fair on them. So
yeah, I totally got the wrong end of the stick when I first saw it until you said what had actually happened, because I didn't see him come back. So
yeah, it's just one of them things.
Yeah,
it was my fault. All of that was my fault. I went thinking I could handle it, and I clearly couldn't. So
yeah, is it hard to find an Englishman to talk to in London then? Resist? I would imagine so. Well, I mean, I personally think Caucasian is still the majority, but the majority of them hide, and only the majority of them stand up. I said that the other day. Who else? So I'm trying to pick her. You know what I'm like for bloody comment. Yeah, I saw Wee One. Hi, Wee One. At least, yeah, exactly, John. I mean, I would have loved to, but finances and health, I didn't stand a bloody chance of going to London. I was going to go to the one in Birmingham this Saturday. They just stopped the boats one, but apparently that's been cancelled. Whether it's due to the fact that they may have overlooked that the whole street where they were going to have it is overrun with the German market up until Christmas. That might not be the reason, but that's the reason I questioned whether it was still going on or not.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome, Stitch. I'm glad you're going to spend some time with the kids on your birthday. Brilliant. That's really, really good. Glad to hear that. I'm going to be spending some time over Christmas with mine, which is going to be the first time that's happened in nearly 20 years.
Oh, we have a bloody house full here every year. Two of them, it's great. We have them all first thing.
9
9 of us.
for dinner.
But it's more or less for the 3 grandkids. Of course, they get presents at home, then they get presents here at Nanny's, and then 2 of them actually go on to their fathers for the rest of the day after dinner. So, of course, they get more presents there. So everywhere they go, it's like, when we go in. Everywhere they go, they get bloody presents.
But once they go, the grown-ups can get serious about drinking.
Well, you lot do, yeah.
That's when the silly games come out.
And I got to admit, that is probably the main time of the year when I do use the devil's lettuce for a little bit more than I should do. Simply because I don't drink and I can join in the fun then. Usually on a Sunday, Christmas Day afternoon, after about 3 o'clock, you'll find me flat out on the bed watching telly. Let everybody carry on down here. Sorry to hear that, Missy. You won't be the only one. Oh, excuse me. There will be lots of people on their own, unfortunately. Some by choice and others not, obviously.
Can't fit 10 round the table, Missy, sorry. I can't fit 9 round the table, but...
I mean, I'd admit years ago I spent years where I was on my own at Christmas. I can remember a couple where I actually went fishing. I got up 6 o'clock Christmas morning and went fishing for the day off the beach. I preferred my own company. Pubs were only open for an hour a day. But
I spent most of my growing up working Christmases. Well, growing up was once I was able to work. So once I was able to work and I was working as working in catering, I spent nearly every single Christmas and New Year working and birthday.
Well, New Year's Eve was always our busiest time because obviously doorman down in Newquay with everybody dressed up. You can't recognise anybody. So what we used to say, well, it's open house. You know, if they're banned, we don't know who they are coming in costume. But if anybody kicks off, it don't matter who it is. They're out, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was usually pretty good natured. A lot of old scores were forgotten at the time, and everybody just went out and had a good fun. I mean, the whole town used to dress up. Princess Angela, good evening.
Hello, Princess Angela.
Back in the 90s, both myself and my mum used to volunteer to work Christmas Day to allow the younger girls with families to have the day off for the kids. And then we would both take Boxing Day, and that would be our Christmas because my kids were well into their teens by then.
Yeah, I mean... I must dig a picture out of it actually because I've got one somewhere. I did actually have New Year's Eve off one year, and I dressed up as a knight, complete with the tunic, false armor, bloody great broadsword, helmet. And I remember some of you that have been to Newquay will remember the place. I went into Bertie's nightclub. Was it Bertie's? Yeah, Bertie's underneath the hotel. And if you can imagine New Year's Eve, the bar isn't 4 deep. It's like deep to the fucking door. You'd queue for an hour to get a drink.
If you've got a drink in your hand, join the back of the queue.
As I walked in, there was about a dozen guys there dressed as the Knights of the Crusade, but just in the cloth with the red cross on the front and that. And a helmet. So all of a sudden they've just pushed the whole line of them to the bar, split the crowd, all stood there, knelt down on one knee, my liege, and let me walk straight to the bar. It was absolutely hilarious. what was it? Sir Jack Daniels. That was it. I got that written on the shield, I think, if I remember. I was Sir Jack Daniels. But I had to go home and make a false sword because the police took the real one off me very early in the evening. They weren't.
Been a so-called terror attack in London in Niagara Falls. A car coming across the US-Canadian border from Canada exploded, killing the two occupants. It's not very fucking well thought out terror attack, is it? If it only killed 2 people in the fucking car.
That was sad today about them 4 lads.
That's what happens when you pocket dial the remote.
Oh, yeah. Don't be holding that pocket.
He might have been just overcharging his phone.
Or it could have been an electric car.
Is that breaking news? Is it?
It's well, it's only 1936, so 25 minutes or 20 minutes
ago. Yeah, them 4 lads in that car. I mean, I personally did it's going to turn out to be an accident because it was upside down. But it's what sort of accident and how did it end up upside down? Was there anybody else involved? Were they driving too fast and lost it? I mean, it's sad whichever way, but why did it take so long to find them?
Where was it? Where did it happen?
Where was
Portmaddock. They were travelling from Shrewsbury. They were going to go camping for the weekend up round Snowdonia way or something.
Right.
I
was going to say if it was in Scotland, they've got form for that, haven't they? Not finding a car.
Well, there was that other one down here as well that went into the roundabout, wasn't there?
I don't know.
With some lads in or something. But yeah, I mean, they found it upside down. It had been reported missing Sunday. That was the last time they were seen. But it was only yesterday they started searching, apparently, which seems a bit strange. But hey,
it was yesterday they released it to the public.
Yeah, possibly that. I mean, they ain't going to give any
but
details.
The ambulance was there. The ambulance was there hours before that anyway, because somebody else had reported it.
I'll tell you what, Sean. If you look at what some of the American pensioners do, it's actually cheaper for them to live on cruise ships and keep taking endless cruises than it is to actually rent somewhere to live. So they just go on a never-ending cruise. They're off one and straight on the other.
That's all right, as long as you've got something you can live off. But the DWP ain't going to pay the rent on a room.
Can you send my gyro to cabin 432 Caribbean? Yeah, I'm a travelling expat. Of course, we were lucky if we got bloody fruit in the stockings. We were.
Roger, I'm just going to go make myself a brew. I'll be back in a second.
All right, mate. No, well, I said it wasn't going to be a long one tonight. It was just, see how it goes, see what people think, and bring that up and see how that all works, But if people want to chat on for a bit, we'll stay on. I don't mind.
Sean, I'm not sure if that means the mattress was faulty or whether you were faulty if you woke up with a spring stuck up your ass.
What you want to do is
the imagination of the people watching.
Which way the spring coils. Roll over the other way. Well, to be honest, Stuart, that's why I never expect much at Christmas, and I never ask for anything, because growing up in our era, you were grateful for everything you got, no matter how small it was. And things were a lot smaller back then and a lot less grand than what kids want now.
I'm sorry, we went through a stage of the rod is my birthday present, the reel is next Christmas present,
Yeah.
the drop net can be my next birthday present, the whatever it was else was. You're done with birthdays and Christmas for the next 5 years.
Oh yeah. But I hope you ain't been working it too hard, Sean. Oh no, you live on your own, don't you? Oh, that still wouldn't stop a lady, though, would it?
Oh, behave. As long as you're getting it replaced, Sean, that's the main thing.
Yeah, that was something else I noticed with that today in that thing. There was no talk about putting disability benefits up. There was extra help with the cost of living.
No, that's what I said. He didn't specify on what benefits.
Which benefits, yeah.
It's just benefits would go up by 6.7%. And that was it. Because they are so intricate, he can't even guess at how much more that's going to give to people. Because everybody gets a different amount.
No worries, mate.
Take care, Rob.
Glyn or that'll be live shortly anyway, won't they? That's why I started early, to be honest. So I don't.
Does anybody know what colour eye Crinkle's got?
Well, it depends what colour he wants to fucking paint it, doesn't it?
I was wondering because I've got some here. I thought I might see.
Oh my god!
What you do? Oh, they're gobstoppers.
No, chocolate. Just a little ball of chocolate, like a little turd. You know, like the ones that you get when you got constipation.
Black olive, I see, says John. Yeah, you can have one whatever colour he wants, really, can't he? You know, get it airbrushed.
I've just eaten a green one. Maybe I should save him the yellow one.
I mean, Bloodshot's quite easy to do. Oh, you don't want to know, Resist. He's one of them that we don't talk about. He's.
I shouldn't have brought it yourself, to be honest. I shouldn't have mentioned it yourself. But...
You banned. You banned.
Suppositories. Yeah, as long as they're putting them up with both hands on your shoulder, some would be happy. I wouldn't. Yeah.
You need to make sure you need to make sure their name badge doesn't say janitor underneath it as well.
Oh yeah. And if he promises to do washing up, don't believe him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Resist, if you see him in anywhere, mate, my advice would be leave.
He just goes out to disrupt and cause problems.
Yeah.
And make enemies.
And the thing is,
now I want chocolate, Dan. Oh.
Damn you, Pap.
Damn you.
Well, there's only one little cake left. You know, like that box you bought yesterday. Oh. She may have some hidden somewhere of her own.
I've got dark chocolate Brazils for Christmas.
I'm
only halfway through the first packet.
Oh yeah. So you're now. What do you say to me when I go looking for Christmas chocolates?
I bought these deliberately.
Yeah.
Leave it till Christmas. Don't eat it now. You'll have nothing for Christmas Day.
I'll tell you what, Resist. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he is actually one of the WEF disruptors, because that's what they pay him to do.
Bye, Graham.
All right, and Graham, thanks for dropping in, buddy. I did see one of your comments today, by the way, but it looks like, yeah, there may have been one removed on the video.
Oh, Graham, sorry. I did see that I had a missed call from you earlier today, was it? I think, or did you call out? I can't remember. I saw that I had a missed call from you. I'll give you a shout. I've been asleep this afternoon. I'll give you a shout. Probably won't be tonight. Probably be tomorrow, if that's all right.
Yeah, he did message me earlier that he'd made a comment, but I'm still getting a hell of a lot of comments removed. A lot of them I can find at the end of the session. I'll go back and look through all the different places where they fucking hide them, but there are a few that I can't find, or they'll pop up in 2 weeks' time, which is another one of their little tricks. Yeah, I don't mind the Brazil, Sean, but I prefer them with milk chocolate, and Heather prefers dark. So she knows anything she gets covered with dark chocolate, I won't eat. So it's safe. She can leave them openly. Any chocolate, mate. Yeah, I don't like dark chocolate. I don't like the bitterness of it.
There's only some nuts that I like. That just sounded really bad, didn't it? Peanuts. I like peanuts, especially the honey roast peanuts. I'll eat them all day long. Other nuts, I'm not so keen on.
And cashews.
Got bag of them.
We were only kids.
They're
My
not
brother
salty.
encouraged me. No, I eat most nuts, but I don't like pistachios. Not that keen on almonds, but I will eat them. But most of the regular ones I will. Walnut, Brazil, hazelnut. We've actually got a hazelnut tree in the garden. It's only a small one. But we usually have a few around Christmas, but they're bits of bloody shell all over the carpets. And
I've bought peeled ones.
You got peeled ones?
Yeah.
Shelled, you mean?
Peeled nuts.
Yeah.
I keep doing this like this because I haven't got it spread about. Can't be asked. Any beating on board. Good evening, Loafer.
Hi, Loafer.
3 hours. Oh, here's some of the stuff we used to have a walnut tree up the cricket club in the village where I was born. It kind of fell down one night, but I do believe it had a little bit of help from a chainsaw. It was nothing to do with me. I actually was told about it the next day, but why anybody would want to cut it down, because it was a bloody great tree. And most of the kids used to go and, knock a bag full down with a stick before Christmas and what have you. But monkey nuts, yeah, well, they are peanuts, aren't they?
Monkey nuts. The real name for monkey nuts is Archis hypergaea or some shit like that. Hypergaea or something. I don't know. That's the proper name for them. Well, it's not the proper name because I just mispronounced it, but it's something.
I have enough trouble with fucking English, let alone trying to get me gob around something like that. We were talking about that earlier. I said something and totally got it. It didn't even sound like the word I was trying to say, but Heather knew what I meant.
But you are right though, Roger. You just said there about it being a peanut, and I'm looking at the thing here now. It says the peanut, also known as a groundnut, goober, pindar, or monkey nut. So a monkey nut is actually a peanut.
Yeah, that's how peanuts are grown in them shells. They're shell peeled and then roasted, and the bigger ones are the ones that are roasted the longest that swell up.
And then they're put in salt or dry roasted mix.
Yeah, then the oil they cook them in, that just gets rolled around in the flavouring, whether it's the honey roast or the dust dry roast. They're all treated the same. But good evening, Scott. Yeah, I used to love them, but again, it's the bloody shells everywhere.
It's the faff.
And the thing is, they're so nice to eat that you just eat more and more, and you'll end up with the shits.
It's like lychees. They're wonderful. But you can't eat them without getting the skins up your nail.
Lychees are like fucking eyeballs.
Yeah.
Lychees.
They're beautiful.
I won't say it. I was just going to say a joke about an eyeball then, but I thought I'd best Trying to refrain myself from going down that route.
Yeah, how to fuck him up if poke the bastard in the other one.
John, you should ask him to be more gentle then.
Oh, dear, throat again.
Sorry, that was probably out of order, but still, it was quite funny. John says she always has a bad belly after nuts.
Well, it depends how hard they get pushed and how deep they go, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And whether they've still got the shells on. You know, if they're the shape of a Brazil nut, I'd be worried.
Sorry, Sean. Don't mean to.
The ones that look like walnuts, they're absolutely fine. That's natural. See, you've started me off now. It's only fucking 8 o'clock. We haven't even passed the threshold yet.
It's the chin nuts, isn't it? It's like Lothar said. I wish my missus liked nuts on her chin. It's ask her if she likes chin nuts.
Chin nuts.
They like walnut. They like walnuts, but on your chin, on your face.
Yeah, you get to my age, you get that when you do headstand. But you can get closer to the wall. Oh, I knew this was a mistake, did I? I do it. Oh, dear.
What, doing the live or getting me on? Mistake.
Just setting me off. Oh, I suppose I'm doing it in public. I'd only have been doing it in front of Heather anyway. Not that. That's going to sound wrong as well. But again, you know, that's what I set out to do tonight. It was just see what people thought about what Hunt was saying, and just have a bit of a giggle for 10 minutes, an hour, you know.
Did you get through all of the clips?
Yeah, I didn't do it all. A lot of it was all figures and basically trying to pull the wool over people's eyes, and it was all big business and that sort of thing. And there was a lot there to go through.
I left this too late then because I was going to do this whilst we were both on the side over there, small, and we had a big picture on here.
Still put it up. Yeah, I've got that one.
We'll do that next to Roland Rat sitting there laughing his fucking arse off because him and his mates are going to get loads of extra fucking bonuses and money and shit.
I mean, I've got not that one. So this is the problem. I've got bloody files everywhere.
Paul Spaghetti Legs, how you doing?
Long time no
Paul,
see.
good evening, sir. There it is. Oh, so that's the one that I use.
Right. There is such a resemblance going on there.
Oh, it's unbelievable. What was the other one? Because you know what I'm like for messing about. Again, I've got to remember where the fucking files are. Oh, no, that ain't the one.
Moo, playing with girls these days doesn't mean you're straight, mate. Not these days, not anymore.
He said he thought he might be a lesbian because he liked playing with girls.
That makes me one as well, then. You know, you've also got Wishy Devil. I used to have nicknames for all of them, and some of the old faces are coming back in the COVID 2.0 inquiry, as I call it. Witty was, well, he was the weasel that I call him. He wouldn't accept in anything that he'd done that was wrong, pushing the blame onto everybody else. But they're all. Boris is the one that's going under the bus. He's the main one. That's the one they're all pointing the finger at.
I believe Chris Whitty said recently, maybe today or yesterday, that more people died of, and we knew this anyway, but during the height of the pandemic, more people died from causes other than COVID. And he actually said in the inquiry.
Because I called it out on the figures that he gave when he said, oh, yes, the deaths went up as soon as we hit winter, as they said they would. I said, well, yeah, you got the flu that was hidden by it. You got the excess deaths, and it was all accelerated. And I mean, I've often said, and me and Heather have said about it before as well. Good evening, Steve. They didn't know what they were doing because they hadn't faced anything like it before. That I can accept. Nobody did. They should have had more preparedness for a similar sort of thing. As Whitty said, the swine flu was nowhere near as bad. So they thought this might be the same as the swine flu, which obviously it wasn't. Everything was a knee-jerk reaction, but all the reactions were too late. And once they'd made one cock up, they tried to cover it up and then made another one, rather than saying, look, we messed up here. Sorry, guys, we're going to try this.
Yeah.
And like the government were making these laws. The police didn't know what was going on. The government didn't know what the bloody police were doing. Departments weren't speaking to each other. Now, we all knew this and we said about it. And I said in the thing today, I think it was, now, all of us that got this right at the beginning and said, this is what's happening, it's now being proved right with the actual proof, with the messages. That's the nice thing about this. Yet nobody's sort of standing up and saying, well, for all those that we called as conspiracy theorists, we're sorry about that.
Well, it's like the royal family. They never say sorry.
No.
They can't admit because then they might be liable.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is, like you say, they don't like admitting that they're wrong, but they've been exposed and they still can't do it. That, the arrogance in it. And their messages show it. Their own diaries show how arrogant they were. Just, oh, yeah, we might gain a few 10,000 extra deaths there. Yeah, but that's all right. Don't worry about that. We'll look after these ones, I mean, yeah, exactly, Stuart. We were the ones that were wearing the tinfoil hats, yet we were the ones that saw everything that was going on.
Conspiracy.
It didn't help that they kept everybody in the dark. I mean, this is one of the things, I know this is a weird analogy, but if you owe money, right, and you just ignore the person that you owe money and you don't get in touch with them to tell them that you can't afford it this week and all that kind of stuff, all that does is it pisses off the person that you owe money to, right? Yeah. I know it's a weird analogy, but when it comes to the government, rather than keeping us properly updated on we're thinking about trying this, we're gonna look into doing that, rather than just keeping us all in the dark all the time and then dropping it on us at the last minute, right, we're doing this. And that's what pissed a lot of people off, I think. If we knew what was going on, if we had an idea of what they were trying next, I think that the general public would have been a little bit more forgiving.
Yeah. Look, we're going to ask you to stay at home for a couple of weeks because we think this might work. Not you will stay at home. You will be arrested if you fucking come out. We don't know if it's going to work. Please bear with us. Let's try it. It's for everybody's good. That would have gone down a lot better.
It wouldn't have worked. Smallwood wouldn't have made me go to work.
Yeah. Again, there were the sheep that would turn around and say, "Oh no, I ain't fucking doing that." I'm hiding. But this is where the problem was. A lot of people complied so easily, so quickly that they think they had control of everybody, and they didn't.
Yeah.
If it hadn't been compulsory, there would have been far more businesses gone. Now you can carry on working as normal. There would, because he wasn't even worried about letting somebody come back into the office when they'd been to China, even though the government said they must self-isolate for 14 days. He was saying she could come back in the office to work.
Yeah. She'd been over there to see her father. But there again, now people think I'm strange with this. Now, the herd immunity. Now, you look at the only country in the world now that has still got a big issue with COVID, where it's still killing thousands of people on the streets and everywhere else. What country is that? China.
Yeah.
Do you know why? Because it's the only one that consistently brought in restrictions and everything else and still does, trying to fight it rather than let it pass, take the casualties you've got, move on. And they'd be the same as us if they did the same. It's because they're still trying to effectively hold up the virus, and then they're fighting a losing battle, and they're just losing people as they go.
Well, weren't they the first? They were the first to initiate lockdowns, weren't they? If I remember rightly.
Yep. And in most areas, in some areas over there, they've never been lifted.
Yeah.
They didn't bother with anybody else's jibby jabbies. They developed their own, which apparently was next to useless anyway. But, you know, they were one of the strictest in the world over it all and what have you, took all the precautions that everybody said they were taking, yet they've still got it.
They should have worked because they had the antidote ready when they were making the fucking bubble in the first place.
They might have changed a bit now. I haven't had a look for a week or two, but the last time I looked, that's what was still going on.
So you're being blamed for sending Sean on a mad one.
Me?
Yeah, you over there. Not me this time.
I didn't do anything like that. So I'm trying to catch up with hospice. I'll get carried away again talking rather than looking at what other people were saying. I know I send the message here into one sometimes. Well, quite often, if I'm honest.
I don't need to go shopping, but it gets me out the house.
Oh, he's talking to somebody else. Sorry, I thought he was making a comment in there. No, I mean, I said about it weeks ago. There's a video out there of how China's trying to hide how badly their country is, how bad their country is right now. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of buildings, housing that has never been used. They're all brand new and they're pulling down simply because they're crumbling. The concrete is turning back to like sand. Literally, they only built these buildings so it would look from satellites and what have you that they were building. There's more and more housing, planting false crops, which are actually sticks with stones on the top, painting fields green. You know, that China is the biggest one at covering stuff up. I mean, their whole economy is based on copying things, basically, from everywhere around the world, from cars to toys. Their whole economy is based on copying.
I mean, sure
considering
where UK came from.
You know,
considering that that our government always go on about how dystopia China is, they're really fucking quick to follow suit, aren't they?
And the thing is, they're not seeing how real China is behind that facade of their digital IDs and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, when you see the real China, the cities are all like that, but the real China is something totally different.
Yeah. Well, when a Westerner enters China, in many cases, if you want to go around China and film, they send somebody from the Ministry of Bullshittery with you, and they will take to areas that are approved, and you're not allowed to go to other areas. Yeah,
it's very similar to what they do in North Korea, to the ones they do allow in there. You're only allowed to see certain things.
Yeah.
China's always been like that, mind. As far as I can remember, the only bit that they let you watch, go and look at, well, most of it is the Great Wall. and
Yeah.
the old buildings. That's the main thing they promote, because that's what the idea of tourism is. That's what people go there to see. I mean, I've known one or two people that come back over the years and said, yeah, you know, the architecture, the buildings. One didn't actually get to see the Great Wall, but the other did, and said that was absolutely amazing. He said, but once you'd seen one bit of it, that was it. There wasn't really anything else of interest. But he said, when you look behind that, you know, you look down from the wall and there's beggars. You know, there's people there holding their kids up, so you give them some water or some food to feed their kids. He said, and that's the part they don't show, and that is the real China. You know, it's not just the monkeys that steal. It's EDI crap. Yeah, and that is the thing, Moo. And I will be totally honest here. I didn't know about a lot of this stuff until I actually learned how to use the internet. I'd heard that, yeah, okay, China's bad. They got the spies. They're, you know, a communist regime and what have you. And what I knew about them was a little bit I'd read and what I'd imagined, which is nowhere near as bad as what the actual truth is. Now I know how to look into it and find it. I was quite shocked. You know, as far as I knew, oh yeah, if you want something cheap, it ain't going to last long, but get Chinese, you know, they build plenty of them. But then sort of seeing how these things are built and how the people that build them are treated, it makes you look at it in a whole new light, you know.
No, we might need to build our own wall around London, and this isn't going to impress many people. We can create our own Palestine.
No, we build the wall around London to keep them bastards in, and we can throw food to them over there. There you go, you fucking elites in your ivory tower. Just like the end of the Hunger Games. Yeah, build the wall, the original wall back around London. Keep them in. But it's going to be interesting again this weekend with the I think there's another one planned pro-Palestine, with the way the police have changed on the protesting, with what they did with Just Stop Oil. Yeah,
they're nicking Just Stop Oil almost immediately when the police turn up. They're saying, right, get out the roads. They're saying no. They're going, right, you're going to be nicked. But you know for a fact that's not going to happen with the Palestine.
Yeah, elsewhere they were still going a little bit softy with them. But as soon as they started walking up Whitehall, they pounced on them, had them off the road, pinned it against the side of the wall. Yeah. And they said, if you want to carry on protesting, go over in Trafalgar Square. We've no objection to that. And of course, they fucking refused, and that was it, right? Arrested.
Well, to be fair, I don't think that people should be arrested for protesting if they're just protesting. No. I do believe that if offences are being committed, you know, and I've always said this from the beginning, right? Although I don't like a lot of the police, I certainly don't like how they react to almost everything. When an offence is being committed, the police need to act. Regardless to what you're doing. Even if I go out or one of the auditors, for example, go out, if they commit an offence, they should be arrested for it, you know, and you shouldn't have people stick up for them if they've committed an offence, you know.
Nope, absolutely.
If you've done wrong, it's your fault, deal with it. But
I mean, they brought in them new laws to deal with them. But as far as I know, there's always been a law that says it is illegal to unnecessarily obstruct a public highway.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
You know, so why haven't they been using that one? Why did they need any new? That's the one they used this weekend, today.
Well, they were using
that law.
They did use it some time ago when Just Stop Oil were doing motorway marches and stuff.
Oh, when they were up on the bridge and that, on the gantry, wasn't it?
That's it, yeah. So they were doing it at one point, but then that particular piece of legislation kind of fell out of favour with the police for some reason, and they started letting them get away with more.
Yeah, well, again, they could have used the traffic laws on that, because it's illegal to walk along the motorway unless you're in an emergency. there's another law they could have got them on. You know, they pick and choose, as you say, and when it suits them. That's the thing. They'll use the laws when it suits them, and usually against who it is. You know, you're more likely to get away with one than the other. But that stupid fucking doctor. You off, April. Take it easy, bud. Cheers for dropping in, mate. Yeah, going on about, we've got to stop this. We can't use fossil fuels. It's going to destroy the fucking planet. And I'd be like, well, probably 80% of the implements you use in a hospital are oil-based in manufacture. Plastic syringes, coats, coverings, protection, aprons. I said, Big Pharma use a hell of a lot of electricity and power to produce their goods. And you're saying you want to stop that and you're a fucking doctor. You dopey bitch. Yeah, what are you going to do? Turn into a witch doctor? Yeah, it's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. But anyway, I'm going to not carry this on too much. As I say, it was only an experiment tonight, just to see how it went. And it seems to have gone down all right. We've been going, hour and a half. I dare say there'll be others that want to go on to other streams as well, that are regular streams through the week. I dare say we won't draw too many from them. But Dan, thanks very much for dropping in tonight, mate. It's always nice to have someone sat there. But what I wanted to do, as I explained, was try this, see how it goes, see how the reactions were. And I'll definitely do it again, but I'll try and sort it out so it's a bit easier to put things out.
I've just had a notification that my ex-hamster subscription's due again.
When will the government let you know how it went? They usually don't fuck around with the viewings until the following day. Put it that way, mate. But no, I've actually quite enjoyed it tonight. I could probably go on a bit more, but I don't want to push my luck, because I will probably do the one again Friday afternoon this week, and then we got yours again Sunday, Dan.
Yeah.
And I don't want to push myself too much. I have been a bit under the weather lately. Well, both of us have here, if I'm honest. And during the week, to be honest, I'm only half an hour most away from the time I normally go to bed. As sad as that may sound. But you've got to sleep when you're tired.
That's what they keep telling us.
Well, yeah, it's not always that easy though, is it?
No.
You know, I mean, I'll go up there probably 9:30. Yes, I might fall asleep for a couple of hours. Heather will come up anytime between 11 and midnight. Sometimes that will disturb me. Sometimes it won't. Sometimes I'm still awake. Yeah. But once I've had them couple of hours, 3 hours sleep most, then I'm wide awake again.
When I was in with mum and dad's, I woke up most nights. I woke up every hour, almost exactly an hour. I kept waking up. The only nights that I think I slept properly was the 2 nights following London, and I literally spent the 2 days in bed after that. You know, I was in fucking agony. I couldn't walk around the house or nothing. I was properly in pain. So I just spent all the time in bed at that point. But other than that, I was waking up every couple of hours or so, or every hour or so.
Scott, Holly's fine. She was in here earlier, actually. She was in the chat. I think she may have gone and laid down now, but she's okay. No problem. But yeah, I mean, with me, if I'm awake at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's weird. Sometimes I can lay there till 7, 8 o'clock in the morning even. And I'm just laid there nice and comfortable. Yeah, my brain's on the go, so I ain't going to go back to sleep. But there again, I'll lay there for an hour maybe, and my legs will start on their spasms and shit. and that just I can't rest. Then I can't lay still, so
Yeah.
I've got to get up. You know, I've got to take some pills, have a drink, and what have you. But yeah, it's a horrible thing, and you can't plan anything because you never know when it's going to kick in and when it's going to happen. That's the worst thing. You know, if you knew it was going to happen every bloody day at the same time,
Yeah, you plan it.
yeah, you can get into that routine, but you can't. It's just so haphazard. I mean, I am getting a bit more used to it, but it's still so annoying.
I don't think there's any getting used to it properly, to be
No.
honest. And I'm not saying that, you know, as if like, I'm worse than you, because, you know, if anybody's got chronic fatigue, you know that it can affect you any time of the day, and in different ways. You know, you can just be tired and carry on, or
Yeah.
it will knock you out, and you have to, you know, you literally can't do anything because your body has just had enough. And you just don't know what it's going to be like from one moment to the next.
My sleep patterns have always been out of whack for years, probably a good 30 years. Literally through doing shift work, several different jobs in the day, twilight shifts, and then straight on to another job from one job. And my sleep patterns got screwed up then. But the ME has compounded that.
The problem is you sleep too much in the day to be able to sleep through the night.
Yeah. If I fall asleep during the day, then that's sleep that I'm going to lose that night. So I just get tireder and tireder and tireder. It's just, well, you get the same, mate. You know what it's like. It's a vicious circle. But anyway, yeah, I'll knock that on the head. As I say, Dan, thank you ever so much for dropping in tonight.
Welcome.
As I say, it's always nice to have someone there next year. You guys in the chat, brilliant as usual. I haven't even had to lift a spanner. I haven't seen anybody else that has. So big respect to you guys as usual. Keep it up. It's nice to see.
Mod, actually, I wasn't checking.
No, I that because I run zero tolerance. We get the odd one or two drop in, but they're dealt with usually because they just annoy me more than anything. But
it's why I try and have a conversation going in the chat.
Yeah. As it stands, I'm hoping to do my regular Friday slot this week, as usual, 4 o'clock till 7. I'm sure there'll be some more news between now and then to discuss, or we can just have a bit of a giggle. Obviously, Dan's on Sunday night, 8 o'clock, till he decides he's going to fall asleep or whatever. Fun and frolics there.
No, I need to end it like I did the other day, because the list gets updated.
Oh, you're still doing on that? Okay, yeah. So we just say 8 till 12 then, yeah.
8 till 12, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough, mate. When I put it out in the video, I'll say exactly the same then. All right then, guys. Appreciate you all dropping in. Stay safe for the rest of the week. You know how it works. Stay safe. Stay strong. Stay free. Take care, people.
Bye, everyone.